Down goes Walrein. We're going to put all our hopes and dreams on a 2-shielded Chesnaught. I attempt the resisted Vine Whip farm down, unfortunately unable to get it before the Ice Punch is reached. The opponent then sends out Golurk. We need to be mindful, Clefable has a lot of energy, so we fire off the Frenzy Plant, go for the undercharge. We're able to Vine Whip farm down before the Shadow Punch is reached. Back out comes Clefable, and we find ourselves in the bait game. Trainer, enjoy yourself. We do not shield baits in this household. Welcome back to the channel. It's that one day of the week where Jamie Finn 1415 posts a team that you can actually climb with, and today we're doing what I always do, running something off meta or more to the point anti-meta. The meta seems to be littered with ground types. The Mud Slappers, due to the Mud Slap buff, are very prevalent, as well as the ever annoying Clodsire that ironically is ranked number 1 and number 2 on PV Poke. That means that an ice type would certainly have some play. It's time to bust out the old classic, the old faithful Walrein. Once a top tier pick, and I believe it is back to that status. Other things Walrein does very well into are common threats such as Mandibuzz and Jumpluff. It's also not a bad generalist. Anywhere where ice isn't resisted, Walrein more than holds its own. For the past few seasons, Walrein's been very difficult to use due to counter users dominating the meta, and also that stupid electric fish lanturn. Both have been nerfed, giving Walrein a lot more play. Despite some of Walrein's hardest counters being taken out of the meta, it isn't unchecked. This season we saw a huge buff to rollout, meaning stuff like Dunsparce and Licky, far too Ficky's big brother Licky are all too common, and something that Walrein does struggle to deal with. This brings us on nicely to today's team partners. Step up to the plate Chesnaught. Chesnaught completely walls Dunsparce, does very well into all the rollout users, the Mud Slappers and the common water types. It is just such an anti-meta beast. All this team's missing is a trusty save switch. I was actually going to use Drapion, however I've featured Drapion quite a few times as everyone seems to be submitting me videos with the buff variant of Drapion, so I'm opting for my trusty rank 1 Shadow Sableye. I haven't been enjoying GBL. I haven't played for like 4 or 5 days. These battles were actually played on Wednesday, Thursday last week. I think I did 7 or 8 sets and I was elo to gain 250 elo and hit veteran rank. So today we're going to take a look at the good, the bad and the ugly, so you can have some success with this team as well. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, my very first match with the team, I'm already thinking, have I got some flaws with my team building? How to deal with Sandslash? Well, luckily they're on Powder Snow and we've got Earthquake coverage. I think this is an easy bait opportunity, but better to be safe than sorry. We full send the Earthquake, obtaining us early shield advantage, and we're just going to let the Walrus go down. Sorry Walrein, your time to shine will come later. I send out Sableye, the opponent pivots into a Azumarill, and it's Chesnaught's time to shine. The opponent doesn't build to the play rough, so I'm going to tank the Ice Beam, throw 7 Vine Whips, look to remove this stupid bulky Blue Mouse from the field of play with the Frenzy Plant, leaving with the superpower to go. Although wouldn't that series of events just play out all too perfectly? The Frenzy Plant leaves Azumarill on a sliver of HP, and I am going to decide to burn my first Protect Shield, keeping all my energy. The opponent reluctant to return. With a Lowland Sandslash, opt to send out Clodsire. I'm going to fire off a Frenzy Plant, which lands for big neutral damage. I bank a charge move and pivot into Sableye, looking to get ahead on energy. I am going to respect a potential Earthquake. In the moment, I thought a Stab Earthquake, even from a defense-weighted Pokemon like Clodsire, will do more than an Ice Punch or a non-stab Drill Run. A Lowland Sandslash, aka Sonic the Hedgehog, re-enters the arena. We force their final Protect Shield with the Foul Play. My rank 1 Sableye holds strong, surviving the Shadow Drill Run and reaching 1 further Foul Play. We might be low, but we're going to get off enough Shadow Claw damage to put this thing into Frenzy Plant range, and that is going to be all she wrote, as Chesnaught easily going to win Charge Attack priority, and we're off to a 1-0 start. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see Dunsparce in the lead. Another lost lead for Walrein. However, if you're going to have success with a team and get multiple 5-0s, it's paramount that your team is able to overcome tough leads. The opponent goes straight for the Drill Run, throwing on alignment, giving me a free Powder Snow. We tank the Drill Run for a 1 Powder Snow and the Icicle Sphere. The opponent invests in an early Protect Shield, recognising we must be weak to this thing in the back. Ironically, I actually switch out into my other thing that doesn't want to see Dunsparce. The opponent chips me with the Drill Run, then send out Dugong. Dugong not going to be appreciative of the Power Gem. Power Gem goes unshielded, rocking big bad bulky Dugong deep into the yellow, and then able to reach the Foul Play on the Charge Attack priority. The opponent reluctant to go 2 shields deep and send out Chesnaught, looking for that Vine Whip farm down. We now have the alignment we want. I'm going to send back out Walrein here. I'm more than happy to invest 1 Protect Shield. I am going to throw the Icicle Sphere as soon as I get it. The opponent makes a very heads up play, catching onto Dunsparce, but this is perfect, as that Icicle Sphere puts him in a range where I can fully Vine Whip farm down with my Chesnaught, and the opposing Chesnaught is going to die a very painful death via a million superpowers. If you're tired of seeing this, I don't even know what Dunsparce is. I guess as a Dragonfly, I'd highly recommend Chesnaught. You can see the opponent thought, that Drill Run did nothing, let's try Rock Slide. No trainer, Drill Run was the correct play. You just fully walled. Back out comes the opposing Chesnaught, the first superpower lands. We're going to farm up just shy of the next double. The opponent can shield this if they want. There really is no win con. They opt to shield. We're going to give them the third superpower and emerge victorious. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we see Greninja in the lead. Yeah, Walrein might be good, but apparently it's not that great in the lead. I actually saw K-Pine run a very similar team with Walrein in the back and have great success. He was actually able to hit expert rank. I'd highly recommend checking his video out. Despite Greninja's insanely high attack, Walrein able to survive 2 Night Slashes. I don't often bait, but I am going to bait here, as Greninja users always shield. I want to get off some guaranteed chip damage. The first one lands. I throw this next one instantly, anticipating that Water Shriek and knocking me out. It actually doesn't, but regardless, we land some chip damage, and Chesnaught going to do what Chesnaught does best and fully wall this moveset. Greninja does have access to Aerial Ace, not that anyone's running it, but it is something to be mindful of. We get a frame drop, because why not? We always get frame drops. That's pretty much the state of the game right now. The opponent then sends out Clodsire. I respond with Sableye. They don't build to an Earthquake, so I'm not shielding a non-stab Stone Edge. The opponent continues to stay in. They bank some energy and then send out Gator, but they've switched far too late. The first foul play goes unshielded. We're already at the next one. If the opponent let this go, this is GG's for them. There literally is no win con. We've still got 2 shields. The opponent going to be unable to Poison Sting, farm me down, so I'm going to burn my first shield here. All we really need to do here is force the final shield or just get them into Frenzy Plant range. The opponent invest that final Protect shield. We're just going to stay in, getting off as much Shadow Claw damage as we physically can. And then Chesnaught's going to have no problem cleaning up. Clodsire might be a poison type, but their sub-ground typing means Frenzy Plant going to land for big neutral damage. I farm up close to the double. I actually thought this one would knock out. It doesn't, but one more Vine Whip gets the job done, and we take that game. In the next battle, finally we see more of a neutral league. You can see we're frame dropping all over the place. We do manage to get our quick move through, just about. The opponent fires off the crunch. We build to the Earthquake, look to fire off the Icicle Sphere, and the opponent makes a nice catch onto Cresselia. I'm going to rebank an Icicle Sphere and then send out Sableye. Despite me running a Shadow Sableye, one Moonblast doesn't knock out. It does like 85%, and the Psychic Cuts are double resisted due to double resisting Psychic. So even though we would have full sent, we would have survived. They actually go for the Grass Knot bait, so then I overfarm, throw the foul play on the charge attack priority, removing Cresselia from the field of play. Back out comes Drapion, and Drapion is not going to appreciate our Power Gem coverage. Sableye putting in so much work, rocking Drapion deep into the red. The opponent farms up to the double crunch. One will be knocking out Sableye. They're going to hope to force a shield off Walrein. However, trainer, we've got a wall to you in the form of our Chesnaught. Sludge Bomb Drapion, essentially a myth at this point. The Vine Whip knocks him out, and out comes Whimsicott. We're going to fire off the Frenzy Plant. If this goes unshielded, it's still going to hit, because Frenzy Plant, one of the finest moves in the game. We're just going to stay in, look to force a shield with a superpower. The opponent actually opt to throw, and that's fine, as we can now just fast move, beat him down. The win con super simple, just tap, 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 shield, tap, tap, tap. You kind of get the idea. Walrein going to be able to Powder Snow farm down, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see another Dunsparce lead. It's kind of funny that I was using Chesnaught, as I thought this was the most common Say Switch. However, we're seeing it very commonly in the lead. However, despite not really seeing it where we want to, we have managed to overcome 2 already, and hopefully we're about to see number 3. Again, we managed to force ourselves early shield advantage. The opponent recognising we must be weak in the back. So we're going to show him what else is weak to him. We save switch into Sableye. The opponent stays in, try their luck catching the foul play onto Drapion. I see it coming in and fire off the Power Gem. Power Gem, a very good move this season, doing a decent amount of damage. We're then able to reach the foul play on the charge attack priority. Foul play won't be lethal, but we'll put them into farm down range. Switch timers are misaligned as well, so we're going to look to make use of it. Aquatail does secure the knockout. I'm going to wait out my clock, as I don't think it's quite up yet. We're going to Powder Snow farm down and spam the switch and hope to get Chesnaught temporarily switch locked against that Dunsparce. We pivot into Chesnaught. You can see the opponent looking to stall the timer, throwing a charge move. The rock side does absolutely nothing, and then out comes Cacturn. As we've still got 2 protect shields, we might as well shield here. This is almost certainly a Trailblaze bait. We now farm up to the double superpower. I think Frenzy Plant would probably knock out despite being resisted. We play it safe, fire off the superpower, back out, comes Dunsparce. We're going to fire off the Frenzy Plant. I don't want to debuff myself again. I'm actually just looking to stall out the timer myself. You can see my switch timer is up. We've now got the superpower bank, so I'm just going to shield this up. On the off chance it knocks out, bank the superpower and pivot into Walrein. If his Icicle Sphere isn't lethal, essentially doesn't matter, as there is 0 chance this Dragonfly will be winning CMP. The opponent commits to the rollout farm down, leaving with the charge move. But sorry trainer, we've got a higher attack and that's going to be all she wrote. Heading into the next battle, we see Walrein into Toxapex. A pretty good lead for them, but the opponent switches out into Metachan. They must be running some kind of ABB team, but I'm still going to respond with Sableye as it is such a dominant matchup. We can tank multiple Ice Punches. I'm just going to farm up as much energy as I physically can before knocking them out with a foul play. We're going to leave quite healthy and with residual energy good to go, so if Toxapex return, they're going to take so much damage from our Sableye. The opponent does indeed send back out that stupid toxic nipple, and they are going to take so much damage. We're trying to keep the opponent's counts off. We just keep farming, trying to throw out random timing, hope the opponent gets greedy, and are forced to shield. The opponent looks for that full poison jab farm down. Sableye will reach another move. Sableye, you absolute monster. This almost certainly goes shielded. The opponent has so much energy. We do force a shield and leave him deep in the red. Walrein can tank any one move, so we're just going to use Walrein as the damage sponge. Sludge Wave, a pretty hard hitting move, but not from Toxapex. The opponent sends out the Quagman, and it's going to be RPS for the win. GG's. In the next battle, finally Walrein picks up a good lead. It's been a while, about time the Walrus picked up what it was looking for. The opponent opts to stay in, which did throw me off, and then they read me like a book, making a very nice catch, catching onto Gator. We're going to answer the Gator save switch with Chesnaught. The opponent goes straight for a Hydro Cannon, which is an easy tank for me. Looking at the health, I think 5 Iron Whips should knock them out, and we get the perfect farm down. I'm looking top right to see what comes out. The opponent sends back out Jump Bluff and opt to throw, which is perfect for me. We'll let Chesnaught go down. The opponent is still switch locked, so I send out the Walrus instantly and look to force a shield or the knockout with the Icicle Sphere. Icicle Sphere goes unshielded, and out comes Stinky Binky. Rock is a dreadful defensive typing. Despite hitting ice for super effective, it doesn't resist ice, so we land the neutral Icicle Sphere and then pivot into Sableye. With 2 shields in play, this game is already over. I don't really know why the opponent is wasting my time, but it is what it is. As I said previously, I haven't played in a few days, but I guess it's time I play some GBL. I'm thinking Galar Cup. I'm looking for a fun team idea. Ideally triple shadow or 2 shadows and maybe a fun spice pick. So if you've got a good team idea for me, post it down below and we'll get another video out there later in the week. I've also received some fun battle submissions. One of them is actually super interesting from Adric. He's running 2 nerfed Pokemon. Pidgeot, of course, got the Wing Attack nerf. Crustle got the Smackdown nerf. But here's 5 Edden using Fury Cutter and Gust, and I'm looking forward to that Shoutcast. However, returning to the commentary, another Dunsparce lead, honestly. You think it's a good save switch. When you run something that's going to hard punish it, of course you're going to see it exactly where you don't want it. Well, I guess that's kind of a testament to this team. We haven't quite had the alignment we want in multiple of these battles, but we managed to go on like an 11 game win streak, so that kind of tells you all you need to know. This opponent switched out into Clodsire to answer Sableye and then concede the match. I don't really know what to say other than GG's. In the next battle, we see Clodsire in the lead. The opponent save switches into his partner in crime, Gator, and I respond with Chesnaught. The opponent farms to an Ice Beam. We do respect it and we correctly shield the beam, which is a great shield from me. We're then going to overfarm, fire off the Frenzy Plant, looking to remove them from the field of play. The opponent actually looking to force both shields with a double Ice Beam, and I'm happy to go all shields down. As the opponent isn't a fan of baiting, we're going to be able to fully vomit farming down, and we're leaving it close to 100 energy. The opponent sends back out Clodsire. Clodsire also not going to appreciate the Frenzy Plants. We're actually going to bank some energy and make a pivot into Sableye, as we've also got a positive matchup here. The opponent continued to stay in, so I'm going to throw the foul play. Foul play won't be lethal, but leaves him insanely low. Likewise, an Earthquake won't knock us out, as Clodsire hits like a wet noodle. Out comes Shadow Machamp. Shadow Machamp goes instantly for the cross chop, looking to move us from the field of play. We've got 2 Powder Snows on Walrein, so we are able to outpace to an Icicle Sphere. However, this could get quite dicey. Of course, this will be forcing the final Protect Shield. If the opponent throws this charge move instantly, Cross shot might actually knock out Chesnaught. However, the opponent doesn't throw. We're able to snipe with the frenzy plant. We're going to vine whip farm down Clodsire and take that game. In the next battle, I'm actually playing a friend of mine. I thought I haven't seen a charmer whatsoever, and he's running Wigglytuff. Of course you are, buddy. He safe switches into Steelix. We're going to go for some chip and dip action and send out Sableye. So we want to keep this thing as far away from Wigglytuff as possible. I'm able to reach the foul play. Icicle Sphere has put him into foul play range. I'm reluctant to shield, to be honest, as I don't want to get fully charmed down. He falls into an Earthquake. Sableye does get one shot. Despite Chesnaught being a fighter, it does pretty well into Wigglytuff, especially with a huge energy lead. So I'm just going to send out the big turtle and look to fully vine whip farm down. I am going to shield the potential Psychic Fang. In case he's got some kind of toxic fast move pressure team, I may as well use my shield somewhere. My opponent doesn't want to give me a massive farm down to opt to send out Diggersby. Diggersby doesn't appreciate the Frenzy Plant, and they're going to bank a Frenzy Plant and look to catch a Fire Punch onto Walrein. We know the opponent's got very little charge move pressure left, so I'm just going to fully Powder Snow farm down and shield once. We've got energy, good to go more or less everywhere. We just need to be mindful of the opponent trying to catch back onto Steelix. I'm looking top right. Let's see what comes out. My opponent waits out his clock, gives me the show and go. Oh man, what a play. We go for the full undercharge, meaning we're able to Powder Snow farm down, and Icicle Sphere still will be landing on Wigglytuff, and this is huge for me as this should put him into one move range. Chesnaught is quite low, but all we need to do is reach the double superpower. The first one will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, and despite superpower being debuffed, they are part normal, so superpower is going to get the job done. Very fun game. GG's, buddy. In the next battle, we see Galarian Weezing in the lead. Nice to see it here, as our backline doesn't deal with it all that well. As they're not a shadow, I'm thinking we tank any one move, and they probably bait me with a brutal swing. Wrong! We get nuked through 2 Protect Shields. Earthquake would be lethal, however I think if the opponent shields this Earthquake, I'm in big trouble. The opponent actually don't shield the Icicle Sphere and then throw instantly. As they're now debuffed, this now puts in a very manageable range for Sableye just to come in, Shadow Claw farm down, only have to tank a double debuff brutal swing. So my thought process there was if I would have full sent an Earthquake and the opponent shielded it, they could have then pivoted out and had a very tough time of dealing with that G-Weezy later. However, here's another thing we're going to struggle to deal with, low ticks. It looks like the opponent committing to the full Sucker Punch farm down, enabling me to reach back-to-back power gems and forcing both Protect Shields, then pivot into Chesnaught. X-Scissor will hit for neutral, but I don't want to shield a Trailblaze and then have to tank a boosted X-Scissor. So we call the bait. We are going to respect the X-Scissor the second time. We need to be mindful. The opponent might look to make the catch. I should have actually paused the turn there and been more disciplined, but the superpower does land, removing low ticks from the field of play. The opponent sends out Gastrodon and concede the match. In the next battle, we see an absolute nightmare lead. Shadow Machamp, we safe switch into Sableye, and there's the Dunsparce safe switch. Of course, when we don't have Chesnaught to counter swap. Despite our Shadow Claws being double resisted, this isn't the worst matchup in the world, as 2 foul plays do get them low. We're not going to be able to flip this matchup, but Sableye does put in work. That does still leave us the huge problem of how to deal with that Shadow Machamp. Machamp has such a pacing advantage over our Chesnaught. The opponent opts to shield that foul play, which is a good start, giving us shield advantage. I remember when I played this battle, I was thinking, can I fully Vine Whip farm this down? I probably can, but I'm going to take more damage than I want, but I think that's my best play. This is going to be a long, boring farm down. Vine Whips don't do too much, but I should be able to Vine Whip farm down before the third move is reached. At least I hope so, because if not, I might actually consider shielding Chesnaught, looking for that Vine Whip farm down, which we get. The opponent, unlikely to return with Machamp, they actually send out Clodsire. I pivot into Walrein, and I think this is a huge mistake. I definitely should have shielded this move. I actually thought one cross shot won't knock me out. Wrong. Shadow Machamp hits like a truck. I definitely should have shielded that move and looked to either force the final Protect Shield or just knock out Machamp. Instead, we're doing what I always like to do and reverse 2 shield flex. Poison Sting has been buffed this season. We're going to need to reach 3 Frenzy Plants to win this game. Unfortunately, we're unable to do so, and I lose like an absolute potato after a very nice win streak. Heading into the next battle, we see another tricky lead. I think I'm personally a player that definitely suffers with tilt of the game, hence I don't play all that often. After losing the last battle, well, I definitely think there's a wink on there. We need to try and ensure we don't lose back-to-back games. Malamar is something that's got a pretty decent matchup into everything. Sableye, of course, Advantageous over Malamar, but it's definitely got an advantage over both Walrein and our Chesnaught. We say switch into Sableye, obtain ourselves a shield advantage against this Azumarill. I'm going to send in Chesnaught here. Chesnaught with energy going to be very good into Malamar. I anticipate the opponent looking to throw the Ice Beam that they throw at Sableye, so we're able to catch it onto the Walrus. The opponent then rebanks some energy and try and go for a combo play. As I've got 2 shields, I'm more than happy to shield once, commit to the Powder Snow farm down, and out comes Dugong. Of course, don't bait in this matchup. I don't bait often. I've probably baited in this video more than I should have, but certainly do not throw a double resisted Icicle Sphere bait at an Ice and Water type. We're just going to go straight Earthquake. The opponent tanks both. We send back out Chesnaught, and the opponent is going to concede the match. In the next battle, we see Talonflame. Walrein essentially is where we want to see this thing. Chesnaught certainly wants to keep far, far away from it. Speaking of which, the opponent says switches into Dunsparce, and finally we get Chesnaught aligned against this stupid Dragonfly. I'd just like to point out, fantastic charge move timing by me, allowing the opponent a free rollout, although in this matchup it really doesn't matter. You just throw one Frenzy Plant and look to fully Vine Whip farm them down. Ideally we want to leave as low as possible, as we don't want Talonflame to get a massive farm down, so tanking this next move is definitely advantageous for me. It gets me low. The opponent actually looked to snipe with an Incinerate, so we pivot back out into the Walrein. We do have an energy lead over the opponent, so good fast move timing, just 2 quick moves and the charge move. That only allows 1 free turn. Of course you could throw 7 as well, but I'm pretty capped on energy. Despite me claiming to be the most washed up batter in the world, nice and simple, we're just going to to and fro, and to and fro again. We force both shields, we're going to land this Icicle Sphere. And at this point, we're just going to save the final shield for Sableye and hope to clean up. We've also got like 180 on Chesnaught, so I don't really know what could beat us at this point. Even if they've got a Charmer, the combination of Sableye and Chesnaught will have enough in the tank. They actually send out Gastrodon. I could just snipe them with a Frenzy Plant, and to be honest, I don't know why I didn't do that play. The opponent actually try and catch back on the Dunsparce. We're able to Shadow Claw farm down, and the opponent is going to concede the match. GG's. In the next battle, we see Clefable in the lead, a Pokemon I think is very, very bait dependent. I've tried using this a fair amount myself, and I think Swift is so underwhelming. We're going to fire off the Icicle Sphere just before the opponent reaches a potential Moonblast. I'm going to call the bait. Do we get nuked through 2 Protect Shields? Once again, thankfully we do not. However, the opponent makes a very nice catch the next Icicle Sphere onto a Lowland Sandslash. We're just going to send out Sableye. Sableye can tank any one move, and after landing that resisted Icicle Sphere, they're pretty close to foul play range. When I did see this team, I was thinking, what the heck do you do against the fire type? However, I'm sure people look at my team and think, what the heck do you do against Sandslash? So it's kind of ironic really, right? The opponent is going to be able to outpace to an Ice Punch, and I don't want to shield this. We're just going to save 2 shields for Chesnaught. This is where team reading comes in. Despite the opponent having quite a random team so far, if you're going to need Clefable, you're going to have 2 anti-poisons in the back. So I'm thinking Chesnaught will be good against whatever it is. So we send out Walrein, go straight for the Icicle Sphere, looking to put them into resisted Vine Whip farm down range. We send out 2 shield Chesnaught, look for that Vine Whip farm down, which we're unable to get. I'm more than happy to burn a shield here, knowing I've got a lot of energy. The opponent sends out Golurk. We need to knock this thing out before it reaches a Shadow Punch. A Shadow Punch will get me low, and I need to save a shield for the energy on Clefable. We'll go for the undercharge, get the perfect farm down before the Shadow Punch is reached, and we now find ourselves in the bait game. We've already called 1, let's go 2 for 2. We do not shield baits in this household. This now sets up a win con of Chesnaught, Vine Whip farming down everything. We shield up the next Swift, Vine Whip farm down Clefable, Vine Whip farm down Sandslash, and take that game. In the next battle, we see another Toxapex. The opponent say switches into Diggersby, and I'm like, huh? You had a good matchup, and you switch out into a bad matchup. We land the Icicle Sphere, look to catch the Scorching Sands onto Chesnaught. Scorching Sands doesn't do much whatsoever. Even if they've got Fire Punch, we will be able to tank 1, and I'm hoping I can fully Vine Whip farm them down. It's going to be close, this Bonnie is insanely thick, but we managed to get the farm down, and we leave minimal farm for the potential return in Toxapex, and we should be able to get off double Frenzy Plants, some heavy neutral damage. The opponent actually makes a very nice play, giving me the show and go and sneaking the Incinerate in the process, but I'm able to bank a Frenzy Plant and send out Walrein. Of course, I'm just going to play out the 2 shield here, looking to get off as much damage on Talonflame as I physically can. The opponent going for the Flame Charge, looking to vamp up their attack. Walrein's bulk is going to be put to the test. The first Icicle Sphere forces the Protect Shield. I imagine they're going to go all in and look for that Incinerate farm. And the question is, can they farm us down before Walrein reaches the next Icicle Sphere? The answer is no. Walrein will not be denied. Walrein removes Talonflame from the field of play. I pivot into Sableye to greet this Toxapex and up a Protect Shield. There literally is nothing the opponent can do. Sableye easily tanks a Brine. Brine, one of the worst moves in the game. If you pair that with Toxapex's very defense stat distribution, it really is pathetic. We're going to be able to reach double foul play, and I think we've even got a Frenzy Plant banked as well. So I guess if I was to use one of my cliche catchphrases, I would say this game is signed, sealed and delivered, and we're going to move on to the next battle. We lead Shadow Walrein into Shadow Machamp. I'm going to say switch into Sableye. The opponent going for some chip and dip action. I imagine this is a cross chop as it's not enough for a Stone Edge, but they're actually on Rock Slide. And despite Rock Slide being nerfed and they're not getting the same type of attack bonus, my gosh did that do a lot. Although likewise that foul play does so much damage to the opposing Gator. Gator able to Shadow Claw farm us down. We're going to send out Walrein to operate as the damage sponge, but again we're not looking in the best spot. Hydro Cannon doesn't do much. I am spamming the switch, looking to pivot into Chesnaught. Back out comes Machamp. The opponent is going to go for the cross chop, and I am going to shield it, hoping we're very good against whatever's in the back. Unfortunately for me, what's in the back is a Lowland Sandslash. Wing Con landed the superpower, so we full send the first one. The first one goes shielded. I think at this point, Wing Con pretty non-existent. I'm going to shield at the Ice Punch. Look to fire off one further superpower, but we're not going to be able to reach the double. The opponent has now received the energy for the Ice Punch. We look to catch it onto Walrein. The opponent holds their energy, fire off the Drill Run, and that is going to be GG's to that opponent. Very nice triple Shadow team. And we're going to move on to the next battle. Walrein into Clodsire, a very nice lead for us. The opponent safe switches into Shadow Sableye. We're going to go for the chip and dip action. If the opponent tanks this, we're just going to look to Vine Whip farm down. If they shield, we're going to pivot into Chesnaught regardless. We can tank any one move. The foul play itself won't do much, but the Shadow Claws will start chunking. I actually think the Shadow Claws are going to do more than the poison stings. I just fire off the Frenzy Plant immediately, looking to remove them from the field of play. Back out comes Chesnaught, and they're going to get a massive farm down, as I am going to be switch locked. However, I'm hoping I can reach back to that Frenzy Plant. If we reach the second, it'll be huge. It will leave them insanely low or force a shield. The opponent looks for that poison sting farm down. Chesnaught hangs on, reaching the next Frenzy Plant. The opponent reluctant to shield, and then look to snipe with Walrein. As we sneak the Powder Snow, I'm happy to shield this up. Just looking to remove him from the field of play. The opponent then sends out Guzzlord. Oh boy, you are so weak to Ice Trainer. We fire off the Icicle Sphere. The opponent choose not to shield, and I guess we can play the you don't shield, I don't shield game. And it looks like Shadow Sableye going to get a well-deserved rest on the bench, and that is going to wrap things up for today's showcase. So as I said previously, I was able to go on a nice run with this team, an 11-game win streak, like plus 250 overall in like 7 sets. I would highly recommend this team. If you've got access to the Pokemon, give it a try for yourself, and I hope you also have the same success I was able to get. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. The link to my battle submission form is down below, and as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.